Hello and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever had those fateful words when the lady of the house walks through the door and she says, "There's something wrong with my car," and you go, "Oh really?" The car in question is a 17 plate Audi A1, and the problem is fuel cap. To be specific, this bit here. And this bit here would not open. Easy fix? Absolutely, it's an easy fix. So in the book, if your fuel flap does not open like it should, what you have to do is you go to the boot, you lift up the boot lid, and in the right hand corner as you look at the car, there is a little plastic flap. You prise out the cap, and in this hole here there should be a nice red pull. It's red because it's emergency, because in our case there's 5 miles left in the tank and we're at a petrol station and we can't put any fuel in because we can't open the lid. So what it tells you to do is pull the red tab. So I pulled the red tab, and I pulled and I pulled, and it would not open. So I pulled it again, and this happened. And at that point my heart sank. And what that red pull does is it connects to this little central locking unit here. So there's a little electrical motor inside this casing, and it works on this little mechanism here, which connects to your fuel flap, and it's meant to twist and turn and push in and out and do all sorts of fancy things. And if it goes wrong, the idea is you pull the red tab, it activates a lever here inside, and it allows you to release your flap in an emergency. But the problem is if this seizes up inside, no amount of pulling on this red tab is going to get it open. And the only way you can do this from that point is to take this out. And how do you do that? Well, I looked high and low on the internet and YouTube to find out how to do this, and nobody that I could find has done it, on YouTube at least. So I thought, a perfect opportunity to create a video and help somebody, because there must be other people out there that have had this problem and don't really want to spend 85, 90, 100 pounds an hour for somebody to take out this little unit, which is 2 screws and is perfectly doable by yourself once you know how. So let me take you on a little journey, show you how this fits in the car, how to get it out and how to replace it, and how easy it actually is. So first off, what you have to do is you have to get behind this panel here, because it's an electrical unit and the connection for it is behind this panel. To get this panel off, this corner panel here with a bit of carpet on it, you first of all got to take off this kick panel, which is right behind the bumper, basically around the boot lock. The boot lock is here in the middle, and this basically is modern, no screws. It is pushed together and it's quite awkward to get apart, but it is doable, and you think you're going to break something, and sometimes that does happen, but if you're careful you can get it off. Now sometimes you might need some kind of tools. Maybe beneficial to get some of these plastic trim tools, but this one I've found is really quite tough to get apart. And what I've done is I've got, this is like a carpet or a tack claw, if you know, to pull tacks out, and to protect the plastic and the paint I've actually wrapped just insulation tape around it, and it's, because it's metal shanked, it's quite a lot stronger than the plastic ones. So the first thing you've got to do is take out the accessories tray, which in this case has got a pump and some tyre glue, if you like to call it that, because it's not got a spare wheel. And down here there are 2 studs that are fixed to the bodywork, over which this plastic part here, this plastic panel, slots over these 2 studs that stick out. So you've got to get the whole thing, clearly must lift up, because you can't get those off of there by pulling them forwards. They've got to come upwards. So that means that there is a clip here, and along, you know, I think there might be maybe 2 clips each side of the boot catch. But you've got to try and overcome the spring tension to pull it out of the bodywork, and it takes a bit of doing. Once you get it started and get your fingers under it, it will come. But these little clips are really strong, and you think you're going to break it, and it feels like you have, but actually it's come out alright. So you've got some clips, 1, 2, 3, 4. They look like this, little metal tabs which are into the plastic there, and this one has actually stayed in, so you can see that tab is there. So you've got to prise that out and put that back in. So that's the first bit off. Next thing, we've got a plastic moulded section here which holds the floor, some torque screws, and then that comes out. Next thing, where the parcel shelf fits, there's a torque screw in there, and once that's loose, next thing is to get your fingers around the edges of it, prise back the boot lid rubber, because there is a clip somewhere here, and again you've got to give it a bit of brute force, and out it will pop. Okay, so behind that cover, what you then have, because I've already taken this unit off, I've already disconnected the cable. There's a little cable there which is your central locking wires, that comes from the main part of the car. Then you have to get this light out of here. So this is a light which is visible when the tailgate is open, but you've got to get it out so you can get behind it to get to the cable. Not only that, but you would need to be able to get behind there to thread down the new red cable, the red pull tab, when you put the new one in. Now, it's push fit. There's a clip at the top and there's a clip at the bottom on the back, and if you go in with your hand behind here, there is a hole in the chassis where, I can't show it on camera because it's too tight, but basically if you push the tab, it should push out. There we go, and if you don't catch it, it will drop on the floor. So there's the plug. You can disconnect that if you want to, or just leave it hanging if you feel the need. But now we've got a nice gap in there to be able to get our hands and fingers down to be able to thread everything back in where we need it to be. Okay, next step is to get out this plastic rubber surround, which basically seals the filler neck to the bodywork. Now this is hard plastic all the way around here, and it's got a rubber gaiter which goes around the filler neck. So the first thing you've got to do is take the cap off and store that out of the way. Now clearly you don't want to be smoking while you're doing this, because you're going to have fuel vapor fumes coming up out the tank now. So no naked flames, no smoking, don't drop anything in there. You need to take that off. You can't just let that hang around in there just to keep stuff out, because this will stop you from getting this whole thing out. Now if you look here, there are 4 little lozenge shaped indents, 2 at the top, 1 there, and 2 at the bottom, 1 there and 1 there, and that is where you have got some little clips which basically clip in to the bodywork to hold this unit in. Right, so to get these out, then I'm going to use the little plastic tool first of all to see if I can actually shift these. You need to get under the little rubber seal, otherwise you'll damage the seal, and hopefully if you push hard enough it should come out. Gone into the top and I've managed to prise out that one there. Now in theory the rest of it should pull out. It feels like you're breaking stuff, but you're not, and she's out. And there you have it. So that all comes out in one piece. These are your clips, they're the bits you've got to get under in front of those little lozenge shapes, and it's possible that you could damage the seal if you're not careful. Now this part here, this is where the little tab goes in for the locking mechanism, goes into there, and that's the bit that's doing the locking, and it fixes on the back of here, and pokes out through there. So I'll get it fitted and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, there you go. So there's the unit screwed in the back with a couple of Torx screws. Can only go one way, you can't get it wrong. And there's the plunger, which does the little bit of locking that you need it to do. So if I just put that as if that cap was screwed in, and you can hear it clicking. And what's happening is, as you push down on it, this little tab here twists round and it locks in to this lozenge shape just here, and that's what holds it down. And then of course the central locking part of it, that's what locks it, so that when you push on this when the car's locked, it will not allow it to turn. Now if all this lot seizes up inside here, this doesn't turn, so no amount of pushing on here is going to turn this to unlock it. And that's what's happened to this one. I'll show you in a minute when I take this apart. I'll show you what's happened inside. So what's inside this unit? Well, we've got the plunger, as you've seen already. That's part of it. There's the other part of it there. But this is all basically seized up, because when you actually turn it over and take it apart, it's all sealed. You can't get this apart. You have to break it to get it apart. It's basically sealed. So, you know, it's sealed for life, and you're stuck with it. I'm going to take it to pieces and find out exactly what the red part pulls on, because it's not clear to me how that actually unlocks at the moment, and I want to find out. So I'm going to take it apart and see what happens. So let's have a go. And then there's an electric motor here with a little worm wheel there, just inside there if you can see it, and that is working to make the thing lock. Maybe we can get the motor out this way. Looks like we can. That's the motor unit. I see what that pulls on now. So if you look inside there, there's a slot, and on the other side of that slot is the red tab, which is pulling on a lever that is in there, a little hook, and that hook connects to this part here, and it's moving this little worm wheel, and the worm wheel allows that then to lock in. So pulling on that lever basically moves this backwards and forwards, which is effectively what the motor is doing. But if the motor is seized up, no amount of pulling on that is going to change that, and that's what's happened. This motor is seized solid. You can see it's rusty. I probably can't turn it at all. No, absolutely solid. There's no way I can turn the spindle of that motor. So if that is seized, that worm wheel will not turn. That means this plastic part cannot move, and no amount of pulling on this here is going to make that twist to allow that to pop up and down. Simple as that. For the bin, I think. So now it's just a case of putting all this back in, reverse procedure. The good thing being it's pretty much all push and clip in, job done. Alright, first thing you've got to do is you've got to thread in the red cable pull. What I would suggest you do is poke it so that it goes through that light, and then you can keep tabs on it and you don't lose it. Now the other thing is a little pipe there. All that's got to do is just poke down the inside the wing, and down inside there you can actually, if you look hard enough, you can see the ground down between the filler pipe and the body itself. That just goes basically straight out to the bottom of the car, down to the floor. Right, so we've got everything in as we need it. We've got the red cable going in through the wing. We've got the cable plugged into the unit here, just at the back here. That goes in also around the wing, and we've got that poking out the light there so we don't lose it. We've got the overflow pipe, as in the little drain pipe. That goes out through the past the filling neck, through the wing, down to the ground, out to atmosphere, so all good there. And it's just a case then of putting this back in, open the flap a little bit so we can manipulate the gaiter over the filler pipe, like that, and everything then should clip in nice and tight. Put the cap on, test it. That's what should happen. That's it. Now we've just got to plug in the cable, pop everything back on, job done. And now if you can see, but there's the cable coming down from the lock, and it clips on
There's a clip on the other side here where my finger is. You can see it poking through the bodywork. Take you on the other side. There it is there. There's the plug and the clip. And this bit here, that's where the wire is going from the car. And this is the bit that goes out to the lock itself. And then the red bit, you've got to basically get your hand inside the light fitting behind there and basically push it through and grab it with your other hand, and there it is there. Right, that's everything clipped in. We just pop our little flap back in, the body trim, just tab it in and push it home, and there we're done. So at the moment the car is unlocked and we should be able to do the flap. If we lock the car, it's working. Unlock the car and we can go, good to go. I actually heard it spin. Not working. Yep, I heard the thing spin inside. And we're up. And it's working, we're happy. Just like that. And there you have it. Now for me, that is an utter ball ache. You may or may not know, I hate working on modern cars. I hate plastic clips. I hate clips in general that you can't see where they are. I hate the fact that they're probably going to break, especially as they get older and the plastic gets brittle. I absolutely detest working on modern cars because of those reasons. I'm never going to change. Fundamentally, it's not difficult. It's just frustrating. I find it incredibly frustrating working on stuff like this. But if it means I'm going to save 200 quid, the part was about £30 from an Audi parts supplier, not a dealer. Don't buy it from a dealer. It was an Audi genuine part, had Audi written on it. It was made in Italy, not China. Had an Audi part number, easy to find online, about £30. And you know, once you know how, it's easy to change. But when you first start, you think, how the hell, why do they design it like this? What on earth's going on? Oh, jeez. And I just, yeah. Some people, you probably feel my pain, and other people are going, oh, they're easy, but that's okay if you work on modern cars all the time. I don't, I work on old stuff. So, you know, sometimes my heart sinks and I groan when I sort of get lumbered with a job like this, but I'd rather do it myself rather than spend loads of money with somebody, because there's always a way around it, there's always something to find. And of course, at the end of the day, what are we doing? We're learning something. So I'm hoping that this video's helped you guys. If you've got a similar problem with the latch on the petrol flap on an Audi, imagine it's very similar for other cars, but this is specifically for an Audi A1. And yeah, hope it helps you. If you like the video, then please click the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. If you consider doing that, it'd be great. Put a comment if you like also as well in the comment section below. Share with us your experience if you've had similar problems, or you're glad of the tuition and that it's helped you out. It'd be good to know if it has, and I'll just keep making this stuff. So till next time, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, bye for now.